Charles?
Reset the machine so we can pick Charlie off this. Let the record reflect that all council members are present except Councilmember Burt, who is in Houston with his wife. She just came out of surgery, doing well, and we'd like to keep them in our prayers. We will be led by Mr. Cole Williams, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. The microphones are out at this point. We're working on trying to get them, and as soon as they're up, we'll use whatever we can use. If not, if you can't hear us, please raise your hand or come to the front. So at this time, we'll ask you to rise for the prayer, followed by the pledge.
We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountifulness, blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We also pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have no executive session. We'll move to the staff report by Executive Director.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I am Sandy Sanders, the Executive Director of Plaquemines Harbor Terminal District. Following is my Executive Director report for the reporting period of 22 January to 11 February. On the mission today, there is a resolution to move our dental and vision insurance coverage for the port employees from MetLife to Blue Cross Blue Shield. As stated earlier, this will result in a savings of about $8,300 per year, and the coverage is identical. And this will also resolve some administrative issues that we've had with MetLife. During this reporting period, I had the opportunity to attend the Governor's Louisiana Board of International Commerce. I am a member of that board, and I witnessed firsthand the importance of being on Louisiana Economic Development Site Certification list. This is a working list that global reps use when they are competing for foreign investment with other states to bring companies to the great state of Louisiana. Our state, post-Katrina, is the #1 state in the union, in the nation, bringing foreign investment, but heretofore we have not been on this list that shows that we are site certified. So if there were a possible company that would consider not only coming to Louisiana, but also consider coming to our parish shores, we did not pop up on their screen. I asked a representative of a company that has the contract with LED to come down and explain the program to us. I invited the chairman to sit in with us. It is a manner that after we are accepted, the site certification, the cost will be borne by LED of 75%. We have to pay a matching 25%. But what it does is they will perform a lot of preliminary phase 1 engineering tests on our site. But more importantly, it puts us on that list that when a rep, as a for instance, in Europe is working, competing against other countries or other states, he's got Plaquemines Harbor Terminal District right in front of him that qualifies for the requirements that they need. So very important. I've asked the rep to come down on a number of occasions to be determined, and I would like to invite the board members to come in and hear it firsthand and kick the tires and look under the hood. I met with Ken Knox, who's the CEO of American Midstream, and they were recently awarded to expand a gas line, bring a gas line from the south through the port property up to the Alliance Refinery. And ladies and gentlemen, this is huge, because that natural gas line is the feedstock which companies need, such as LNG, LPG, methanol, etc. And it's also a major consideration that companies will locate as close as they can to that feedstock. So if we have it running right through our property, that is a huge boon to us. They will be dropping in a 12-inch line. They have a window where they could up that up to a 24-inch line based on if I could put someone on the property that needed that. But that's a major marketing play for our entire parish. Recently met with Mr. Guy Lagasse, he's the Director of Homeland Security for Plaquemines Parish, regarding some joint security efforts, particularly asset sharing of the Mobile Communications Center. I have talked with a couple of other ports that have been awarded one of these vehicles from the federal government, and some ports don't even exercise theirs. We try to exercise ours, but it's a heck of an asset that could be used throughout the parish, particularly on disaster relief. And we would like to work with the parish government, the sheriff's department. We have talked to the sheriff's department before, but I'm trying to set up a series of meetings to see how we could share this asset. It does need to be exercised, but the more people we can get familiar with the potentialities of this asset, the better off we are in the event we do have a disaster. Subject to your questions, Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Are there any questions?
Questions or comments?
Are there any questions from the members? Just one comment, as I mentioned to you briefly on the certification process.
Yes, sir.
In the template that was sent to us, it showed that the local economic development arm sometimes participated in the share of that, and I would officially ask you to request that PABI be asked to participate financially towards that certification process, because they always want to be part of the process and have skin in the game, as it was quoted to say. So I think it would be appropriate to ask them that to step up, since they supported the tax and they supported the effort to purchase the property, that they participate in the funding of the certification.
Yes, sir. I have sent some trial balloons, so to speak, because they have a process that they have to go through, and it has been met very positively.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further comments or questions from the board, audience? Thank you for your report. We'll move on. There are no bids and advertisements, I assume? Any introductions of ordinances and resolutions? Councilmember Fadden?
None. All right, 2, a resolution electing a Plaquemines Port and Harbor Terminal District Vice Chairman for 2015, otherwise to provide respect thereto. And a resolution appointing the members of the Port Committee to the Plaquemines Parish Council for 2015 pertinent to ordinance number 11-5, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilmember Juneau?
None.
And I have none at this time.
I have none.
I have none, sir.
I have none.
At this time, we'll move to item 6A. Councilmember Lapine.
A and B will both be deferred today.
We'll move to item C.
A resolution to amend and as amended re-adopt resolution 14-454 dated November 13, 2014 with regards to dental and vision insurance and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer and ask for a second.
I'll second.
Second with Councilmember Williams. This is the item that was reported on in the Executive Director's report concerning the dental and vision, which we're switching to have a savings of approximately $8,300. Thank you. Any comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none, machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 8-0. Move to item new business. Is there any new business to come before the board today? Seeing none. Move to item 8, approval of January 22nd, 2015 minutes.
Offer.
Councilmember Fowler offers. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Edgecombe. Any comments or discussion on the approval of the January 22nd, 2015 meeting minutes? Seeing none, the machine is open. And the minutes are approved 8-0. That concluding the business of the Port Harbor Terminal District for the February 12th meeting. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Offer.
For Councilmember Fowler, is there a second? And the machine is open. And meeting stands adjourned at 8-0 at 1:15. Thank you. This time we'll convene as the Plaquemines Parish Council. Having already had the roll call, we'll ask the machine to be open for the roll call. Machine is open. Let the record reflect that 8 council members are present, and as I mentioned earlier, Councilmember Burke is out of town with his wife. At this time, I'll try to give a little explanation of how we're going to handle the agenda today. We're going to go through the deferrals and withdrawals at this time, and then we will move into an executive session for the public's benefit. It will probably be a little lengthy, so I'll ask you to bear with us. There's some important matters that we will discuss in executive session. And at this time, I'll ask for deferrals and withdrawals for the benefit of the public knowing what business may not be conducted today. Councilmember Fowler?
None at this time.
Councilmember Black?
Yes, 6F. Withdrawn. F.
F will be withdrawn.
J, withdrawn.
6J will be withdrawn.
6H, withdrawn.
6H will be withdrawn.
6I, withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
That's all.
Councilmember King?
Item 6B will be withdrawn. Item 6K will be withdrawn. And items 6M and 6N are deferred at this time. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. K is withdrawn.
K is withdrawn, yeah.
And defer M and N.
And M and N are deferred.
Councilmember Judah?
Yes, I have one. 6E is withdrawn.
6E will be withdrawn. But this time I will defer items 6O.
Did you say bang?
6O will be deferred. 6GG and KK will also be deferred. Yes. And KK. And for Councilmember Burke, we will be withdrawing P, Q, R, S, and NN.
What was the last one?
PQRST, withdrawn. U, let's see, U is, wait, let me check
You
that.
is mine.
Excuse me, not you. Let me see. NN will be deferred. Councilwoman Salvo.
Yes.
And
I will defer 6A4,
6A4 will be deferred.
6U, V, and W will be withdrawn.
Y'all repeat it, Mr. Chairman?
6U, V, and W withdrawn.
And 6PP, yes, 6PP will be deferred also.
6P will be deferred.
And that's it for me.
And I'll recap this in a moment. Councilmember Edgecombe,
6A deferred,
6A,
6A1, yes. 6C withdrawn, X withdrawn,
C is withdrawn,
X is withdrawn,
X withdrawn,
and Y is deferred.
Y is deferred.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Williams,
I'm going to withdraw 6D and 6Z. That's all I have. D is in dog and Z is in zebra.
withdrawn, and I'll recap this in 1 second. Z is deferred, you said?
No, D is withdrawn,
Withdrawn.
and Z is withdrawn, both of them.
Let me recap this, and for an explanation of this, there are other ordinances that are introduced that will take care of many of these were appointments to boards, and rather than having 9 resolutions for one board, we'll have 1 resolution for the board. And that's a brief explanation of how we are handling some of these withdrawals and deferrals. And for recapping that, we will have item 6A deferred, 6A1 deferred, 6A4 deferred, 6B withdrawn, 6C, D, E, F withdrawn, 6H and I withdrawn, J, K withdrawn, MN deferred, O deferred, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X withdrawn, Y deferred, Z withdrawn, G deferred, KK deferred, NN deferred, and PP deferred. Now, that's, we'll look into that. So having said that, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
Offer.
We'll ask the secretary to,
Mr. Chairman,
yes?
I think there's legislation that Mr. Badalamy has that he want to pass over to me, and I would like to have that deferred too. That would be, is it 6G? Yes, 6G will be deferred also.
We'll add to the item 6G as deferred. If that's all, any other items? If not, we'll ask the secretary to read the executive sessions before we have a motion to entertain them.
Michael Mudge and William Money versus Plaquemines Parish Council through Brian Marinovich, Keith Hinckley, Percy V. Griffin, Kirk Lapine, Dr. Stuart J. Bowie Jr., Anthony Beers, Burkhart Turner, Jeff Edgecombe, and Marla Cooper. 25th JDC number 60-909, Division A, Attorney Ronnie Burris. The Plaquemines Parish Government versus Chevron USA et al., 25th JDC number 48-614, Division B, Attorney L.B. Cooley. Plaquemines Parish Government versus State of Louisiana et al., 25th JDC number 33-953, C/W, number 34-211, Division B, Attorney L.B. Cooley. The Parish of Plaquemines versus ConocoPhillips et al., 25th JDC, number 60-982, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus HHE Energy Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-983, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Exchange Oil and Gas Corp. et al., 25th JDC, number 60-984, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus LLOG Exploration and Production et al., 25th JDC, number 60-985, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Equitable Petroleum Corp. et al., 25th JDC, number 60-986, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Linder Oil Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-988, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Riverwood Production Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-989, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Hellas Oil and Gas Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-990, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Bepco LP et al., 25th JDC, number 60-991, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus North Coast Oil and Gas et al., 25th JDC, number 60-992, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Cascades Operating Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-993, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Goodrich Petroleum Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-994, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Devon Energy Production Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-995, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Rosal Operating Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-996, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Palm Energy Offshore et al., 25th JDC, number 60-997, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Great Southern Oil and Gas Company et al., 25th JDC, number 60-998, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Hillcorp Energy et al., 25th JDC, number 60-999, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Apache Oil Corp. et al., 25th JDC, number 61-000, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Campbell Energy Corp. et al., 25th JDC, number 61-001, Division B. The Parish of Plaquemines versus Total Petrochemical and Refining et al., 25th JDC, number 61-002, Division B. Attorneys Carmouche, Kosich, Parasol, Taylor, Koenig, Berglis, and Tankersley. Discussion regarding the BP oil spill settlement, Attorney L.B. Cooley.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
Offer.
Councilmember Bartholomew, seconded by Councilmember Juneau.
Chairman, I have one comment. I'd like the record to reflect that I will not be attending executive sessions 2 and 4.
Councilmember Black will not attend the executive sessions for 2 and 4, and the Secretary will make a note. Machine is open to move into executive session.
Ms. Audrey.
At this time, we will move into executive session on those items. We ask the public to bear with us while we go through these reports. Thank you. We will call the meeting back. We will call the meeting back to order. at 2:45 without any final or binding action having been taken. At this time, in the public interest, we will move to item 6RR for discussion.
The resolution authorizing and directing the law firm of Cossack Summit, Harris Sullivan Taylor LLC, Carmouche and Associates LLC, Connick LLC, and Burgess and Tankersley LLC to temporarily cease and desist from performing any work associated with the legal action currently pending under the Coastal Zone Management Act pursuant to ordinance number 13-210, and to provide to the council a comprehensive update and full accounting of legal fees and costs incurred in this matter, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilmember Williams.
I would like to offer this for discussion at this time.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Juno. At this time, we will move to this item for discussion purposes and ask that those interested in making public comments, make your comments and try to limit them to about 5 minutes apiece. If you have a group of people and you want to have one spokesman, that would be, in the interest of time, advisable. At this time, we will begin public comments on that, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Williams.
Yeah, this is just a resolution to cease and desist all work currently on the Coastal Zone Management lawsuit. I know there's a lot of industry that's concerned about this, and I would like y'all to take this opportunity to speak your piece in this matter. So I open it for discussion.
Those who would like to come forward. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Al Madera, 37212 Highway 11 South Buras, Louisiana. I've been in business since 1982. My family before me, grandfather and grandmother and all, it was in the boat business. We strive on all work. This lawsuit does not do anything for the parish. What happened 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago, it's not going to bring nothing back. This lawsuit is going to cost jobs. And my family, all my employees, all against it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Good evening, Chad Madera, 30568 Highway 23. Just want to iterate what my father just said. I've been in this business now 18 years with them. I'm the third generation to be in the business with them, and I'm proud of it. You know, we have 74 employees that we currently employ here in Lower Plaquemines Parish. You know, every day that I go to sleep, you know, that's what I think of. I got 74 families that I got concerns about. So that's a big weight on our shoulders, because we think, industry-wide, we think this is certainly going to kill our industry. And not just so much in Plaquemines Parish. Every parish is looking upon this. And if what we do here is going to affect parish and neighboring parishes, it can kill our industry as a whole. So what we do here in Plaquemines ain't gonna. I'm not going to be able to move my operations to another parish, because this possibly can poison the neighboring parishes. So that's my concern. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Troy Lombardo. I'm actually from the town of Berwick. I address 1414 River Road in Berwick, which is St. Mary Parish. I work for an oil company in the contracting business. Been there for the past 28 years. I'm also an elected official, just like you. I'm on the town council. And I think it was Councilperson Williams that has the ordinance. I think you're barking up the right tree, because you have a fairly new council here, and you need to understand what you're doing, because what you do here not only affects what happens here, this is going to affect the whole Gulf South. And it'll move from oil to fisheries to everything else. So I think you're barking up the right tree by tabling it or whatever your ordinance said to cease and desist for now, let you study it, you know, and maybe if it warrants, come back at another time. So I just wanted to encourage you to do exactly what you're trying to do. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Plaquemines Parish City Council. I'm here not against the lawsuit at all, but one of the things after Hurricane Katrina, as we went back and forth to Washington looking at the damage to coastal restoration, what was amazing to me how the oil company wasn't at the table, because they do have some contributed negligence involved. And I don't think you have to necessarily be sued, but I think we have to make sure that the oil company is involved in contributing something to really building the coast back. In a meeting with President Comey, I expressed that to him, is that I hope that as a parish government, we can look at the amount of money that's needed to build levees on the East Bank and on the West Bank, and make sure that the oil company contributes something to that, because they did have something to do with part of the coastal restoration, but not to put people out of job. But I think they should put something back into the parish and be upfront and putting up some serious dollars to help us build the coastal land here in Plaquemines Parish.
Thank you. Tyrone, you come back and, yeah, name and address of record.
Reverend Tyrone Edwards, 112 Thomas Lane, downtown Phoenix, Louisiana, on the West Bank, the East Bank.
Good afternoon, my name is Nick Conkey. I'm living in Buras right now, Kimberly's Court, right near the fort. Respectfully, I think if anyone's done damage, they need to be held accountable. But this lawsuit, the way it's been filed, the way it came about, the genesis of it, it has little to do with damage. This is about the Coastal Zone Management Program, which we adopted in 2000 as a parish. 1978 is when it first came about, but we didn't adopt it until 2000. Here's a list. It's 30-some odd pages of permits. I go through these permits. This is the petition. This is one petition of 21 petitions filed by this parish. I'm looking at them, and I see removal of existing bulkheads, helicopter fuel tank. I don't know how that has anything to do with coastal erosion. What this is some attorneys who aren't from this parish and don't have a vote came down and they want to make a lot of money. The problem is it's going to hurt us. It's going to affect the people. With all due respect, saying people, we need to have the oil companies come down and fix what they broke. We need to prove they broke something. File individual lawsuits based on damages, and if you can prove it. But don't blanketly throw a wide net, catch as many fish as you can, and then try to get the case heard back in Plaquemines Parish. It's called extortion. And you're saying, hey guys, the trial's going to be here in Plaquemines. We got all these guys named on the lawsuit, and you better settle. And that's what they want, a settlement. But once they settle, all the other parishes are going to fall in line. But there's a reason there's only two right now, Jefferson and Plaquemines. And it really goes into the last council. But that's really all I have to say. This parish was built by the river. It started dying as soon as those levees were built. That's what this parish, that's why we're losing land, is the river. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Yes, Warren Lawrence, 120 Timothy Canal Lane, Myrtle Grove, Louisiana, from the West Bank to West Bank. I'd just like to say I also, like Reverend Tyrone, don't have any objections at all that if the suit was wrongly handled by the previous council or whatever they did, the public's in such a quandary on what in the heck went on here. I don't think anybody knows. We don't want to cost anyone jobs. It is these corporate people are responsible, and they have done any damage, no matter if it's an oil company, no matter if it's an electrical company. If they've done damage to some property, and if it was our property, as responsible corporate members, they should come in and repair their damages. What has been done in the past is done in the past. I'm hoping that if you resolve this and let it go, that we do something that's in the future. When they get a permit, every month I come here, or every 2 weeks, and I hear you giving more permits out. Are we gonna be looking at this 20 years down the line and say, well, they cut some more canals through, they didn't backfill, they didn't do whatever they were supposed to do, and it wasn't handled properly? It was not handled properly. We have, you know, I'm almost 75 years old. I've seen the loss of land. I've seen where it just ate us up. And it was on not just simply this simple group that they're plastered in here. I mean, we can go down to Freeport Sulphur. And what Freeport Sulphur did, they gave a lot of people good jobs. They did great for this parish. But then they ran out with the profits and they left the moss torn up. It's too late to do anything. Let's make sure we do something for the future. And the only thing I say on the resolution, you got a word in there, temporarily. I don't know if this is something temporarily or if something's going to be done permanently. I don't even understand why temporarily is in it. Either it's going to be done, you know, we got ripped off by these attorneys, that's my opinion, and we let them do what they did. It's not their fault. We did it. We haven't even discussed how much money was spent, why we allotted so much to be spent, but I think the public should be aware of how we got beat down on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Good afternoon, Trey Scobell, Lioness Marine. Address is 138 Keating Drive, Belchase. Belong to a family business that's been going on for about 3 generations. Hopefully going on 4. This is a tough break for us, this lawsuit. It is giving us challenges every day. We roughly employ about 60 to 70 employees. And we're looking to stay in business for the next generation or so. This is definitely going to be a negative impact on our organization and the industry. And all I'm asking for is a amicable resolution between the council and what the goals are, maybe to remove any kind of unnecessary fees generated by attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments?
My name is Arthur Henry. I live on East 3rd Street in Belchase. Not a businessman, a regular citizen of Plaquemines. You know, you guys was elected here to do something. People get up and say there's no coastal erosion. It is, man. We know it exists. We know I'm fighting all the time for these guys got 30-year contracts here, and we get hardly any money off royalties. Then they extend them for longer. You know, when oil was selling at $100 a barrel, everything was fine, everything was glory. But the people here are still suffering, man. The people here are still suffering. You, as a council, have a civic duty to protect Plaquemines Parish. Borough, it's not going anywhere. You can holler about all day, we're going to lose this, we're going to lose that. All going to be in that ground. Guess what? They come and get it. But to get it, they should do it the right way. Just like Mr. Lawrence said, we're having things now where these guys getting permits to do all kinds of things out there, but there's no one to check on it or anything to see if they're doing the right thing with it. We got to start protecting our parish. Our parish. If we want the next generation to live here, guess what? It got to start somewhere. We got to start doing it, guys. We got to start doing it. Money is good too, but guess what? Might have nowhere to live with the money. Think about that.
Thank you. Any further comments? Ms. Williams?
Yeah, my name's Emmett Scobell Jr. I've been a resident of the parish all my life. I've been in business since actually '69. Actually, I wasn't prepared to come up here and give a speech. I was just asked to come to meeting and see what was going on, and you know, now I feel like I have to at least voice something, but I wish I was better prepared. My son was up here just before me, and I guess he used better words for it. But you know, it seems a lot bigger than what we maybe even think it is, some people. You know, we blame the oil companies for totally destroying the marshlands. But the fishermen, the trawlers, everybody else that uses these canals, that fishes, especially the ones that go in the marsh with the skimmers, all of it has to do with, you know, destroying the marsh. And, you know, once this lawsuit gets involved, usually when somebody gets sued and they got to pay it, if they got somebody that contributed to it, they're going to get them in the suit also to pay it. So y'all going to wind up suing all of the service companies besides the oil companies. And some people don't know all what's going to be involved in that. But and then, you know, they're going to generate all this money, and the majority of it, I always feel like goes to the legal departments. So I think the attorneys are the one that generated this, and the average people is going to suffer from it. It'll make the rich richer, the poor poor. Anyway, that's the way I see a lot of it. I wish I'd have had more basic things in proof and statements. But that's anyway, that's how I kind of feel about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Rodriguez, 143 Reynolds Lane, Portlash. Do y'all remember, let's see, I worked in the petrochemical industry for 30 years at Cox Bay Field for Bass Enterprises. Do y'all remember the mosquito control ditches that was dug through the marshes back then? Does any of y'all up here remember that? And finally, after so many years of them digging these mosquito control ditches, they stopped them because it was helping to deplete our marsh. So if you look at just the oil companies, Plaquemines Parish itself was part of the blame for this by digging these ditches through the marsh. They had marsh buggy drag lines for a long time down there at Cox Bay because we used to bring them across on our crew boat and all. But just think about it, you know. There's more than just the oil industry that depleted these marshes. And the young man that was up here before us, when we levied off this river, that did it. That was the main knife in the back. We can't stop Mother Nature, and that's what we try to do. Thank you.
Thank you. No further comments? Ms. Williams?
The intention of this resolution was to give this council time to take into account all aspects of this suit. There are 7 new members on this council, and my intentions were to have us put a halt on everything so we can look at it and get a grasp for everything from industry side, as far as to upholding the laws, as far as, you know, making an unbiased decision as a council. So I'm asking that I can get the support to pass this, but today I'm going to defer this so we can, all the members on the council can sit here and take in what they've just heard, what our legal team has provided us with, to be able to make, like I said, an unbiased decision. So I ask to defer this this resolution today.
Item RR will be deferred at this time. Thank you all for coming. We will move to the regular item of business at this time. There are no proclamations. Status report by the parish president. Mr. Cormier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our trip to Washington, I'd like to convey to you our plan that we had. We did not want to go to Washington and just try to overwhelm each of the people that we spoke with too many subjects, so we tried to focus one particular subject in each category. The first group that we spoke with was FEMA, and we addressed that situation about the cost-benefit analysis that they've been using against Plaquemines Parish with the population. We did get a favorable report that they're now considering making some adjustments to the population figure alone and looking at other aspects, in other words, as to how vital Plaquemines Parish is and the people in the parish. And that was a man named Mr. Miller, who is from the state of Iowa. But like I said, we had a favorable conversation with him. Senator Bitter, we concentrated on the East Bank levee system, trying to get that federalized with his group. With Senator Cassidy, we went ahead and tried to finish up with Senator Landrieu had started with the Lower Valley Historic situation, and that they don't refer to it as Fort Jackson because I think there's another Fort Jackson located somewhere. So they call it the Lower Valley Historical Valley District. We're trying to get that federalized, and Senator Kennedy was very receptive to that and carrying on that program. The next person we spoke with was Congressman Scalise, and he is the new whip. We talked about the Belle Chase Bridge, the infrastructure in Belle Chase, the situation with the traffic and so forth. And then we went to Congressman Graves and spoke to Congressman Graves about addressing the coastline. And of course, he's in favor of basically not rocking, or he said rocking only in certain situations. We also spoke with a group called Tincati, which is the geotubing. And the problem with the geotubing that we brought back was the fact that it's basically a temporary type of thing. The sunshine destroys it over time, and then you're just left with the original thing. So it's you have to go back and really try to keep it with a lot of maintenance. And of course, the last person we spoke with was a guy by the name of Carlos Monjo, a Ridgewood High School graduate from New Orleans, who's with the Department of Transportation up there, and we discussed ferry grants with him. So as a result of that, we feel like we made some good inroads and got some good feedback from a lot of people that are representing you in Washington, D.C. And as a result of that, we think it was a favorable trip. The consultant that we have from Plaquemines Parish, a guy by the name of Larry Lynette, did a great job for us, and had us up at 7:45 in the morning and worked until 5:30 just about every day in dealing with all of these different groups. He did such a good job, one of the meetings went so long that he got his car towed, so. But, so thank you for that opportunity to give you a report on Washington. If anybody wants to ask any questions afterwards, I'll be right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any comments or questions from the table?
Yes. This question is for, I believe, Director Giles from Public Works. I've received numerous calls this week, as have my colleagues, in reference to the cancellation of recreation youth basketball. I'd like maybe for you to elaborate on a little bit why that was canceled.
The reason we canceled that, when I first came in, I wanted to make sure that the recreation department was first class. And when I was doing my observation of the timesheets, I saw there was an enormous amount of overtime. And so I wasn't sure if it was normal or abnormal. So what I wanted to do was to get on top of it. I asked the supervisor and the workflow coordinator to suspend all games and practices for 1 week, so that I could look into it and see if we could get a hold on this overtime situation. Whether we need 2 employees at the park or 1 employee. Do we have to have 6 hours overtime or 4 hours overtime? And as I explained to those who did call me, every game will be rescheduled. But I want to get a hold of the overtime, and right now that's what we're working on. So that's why I canceled for that 1 week, because I wasn't sure if that was normal or abnormal. And so, but everything is going to be back to normal next week with the games and practices.
So after Mardi Gras week?
Yes, sir.
No, during
During
Mardi
Mardi
Gras.
Gras.
So you will be playing Mardi Gras week?
They're going to have games, that's correct.
Okay.
But that was the purpose of it, just to make sure, because there was a lot of overtime hours. And I wasn't sure on that, just coming in on a job. So I wanted to make sure that if that's the normal standard, then I would work with that. But if I could cut down those hours, that's what I was going to do. And so even as we speak right now, we're working on a plan to cut down on some of those overtime hours.
Thank you, Director Jones.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments?
Yeah, I have one question.
Councilmember Bowden?
Yeah. On the east bank, right out of Delco area, there's a house that was demolished. And it's still sitting along the highway. And you need to, that needs to be removed. I don't know if FEMA responsible for that or whomever, but we got stuck with it because it's still sitting. And maybe we can look into that and see what department's supposed to have, make sure that's removed. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll move to bids and advertisements. Are there any? None? Thank you. Beer and liquor license?
Have two. Nick's Place LLC, P.O. Box 104, Point Lahash, Louisiana. The address is 17831 Highway 15. Byron Williams Senior is requesting a one-day beer and liquor permit for a parade at the event. Well, it should be Percy Griffin Center at 15501 Highway 15, Daybent, Louisiana, February the 15th, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
None for District 2.
I have none.
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. Yes, I have three. Woodland Plantation LLC, 21997 Highway 23, West Point, Lahash. Cajun Kitchen, 105 Camellia Drive, Port South, Louisiana, 783. And I have a special event permit from Sheriff Lonnie Greco. He's requesting a one-day special event and beer and liquor permit for his annual fundraiser to be held on March 8, 2015, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 18036 Highway 23, Myrtle Grove, Louisiana. That's all for me.
Thank you. Councilman Edgecombe?
I have none, sir.
Councilman Williams?
Yes, I have two as well as the special events. Liquor license renewal for Riverside Restaurants, 42939 Highway 23, Venice. And for Cypress Cove Marina, 235 Cypress Cove Road, Venice. And I also have a special events permit for the Bears Volunteer Fire Department to hold their annual crawfish boil off, which will be held at Fort Jackson on April 25th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you. Have a motion to accept the liquor license?
Offer.
Councilman Bartholomew, the officer, second. Second by Councilmember McKean. Any comments or discussion on any of the liquor license? Hearing none, machine's open. And the license were approved 8-0. Remove the building permits, construction, A1.
Ellis Oil and Gas Company, LLC, application number 2014-5743 to install pile clusters, drill the SL195 QQ SWD, well number 8, and install wellhead protector and install 8-inch flow line, Black Bay Field. Swift Energy Operating LLC, application number 2014-5898 to wheel wash and install pile clusters and extend existing shelf pad, drill the BLD CMD opportunity number 3, install keyway and wellhead protector Lake Washington Field. Swift Energy LLC, application number 2014-5937 to install 2 6-inch pipelines Lake Washington Field. Swift Energy Operating LLC, application number 2014-5957 to install 3-inch flow lines Lake Washington Field. Swift Energy Operating LLC, application number 2014-6040, to install 4-inch flow lines, Lake Washington Field. Swift Energy Operating LLC, application number 2014-6045, to install pile clusters, shell pad and keyway, drill the Cockrell Mooring CC, W5 and W5A Caprock wells, and install wellhead protector, Lake Washington Field. Gulf South Pipeline Company LP, to install temporary pile clusters and anchor to remove an abandoned section of existing 10-inch pipeline, Venice area. Daybrook Fisheries, new dock facility, install precast concrete piles, steel piles, fender, precast concrete panels, cast in place beams, metal access bridge, walkway, and temporary access ramp, 136 Daybrook Lane, Empire. Hillcore Energy Company to prop wash, plug, and abandon the Cockrell et al. Well, number 121, and removal of associated structures, Lake Washington Field.
Is there anyone that wants to take any of these out of order, or we can take them in global? Nothing? None, do I have an offer?
Yeah, go ahead and take out 8, Mr. Chairman.
Which one?
No, 8.
8. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to accept 1 through 7 and 9, excluding number 8. I have a motion to
Reset. Can we reset this? Does that allow me to clear?
Randy? Thank you. At this time, I have a motion to accept construction permits 4A 1 through 7 and 9, excluding number 8. Do I have an offer?
Offer.
Offer by Councilmember Fowler. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Williams. Any comments or discussion on any of the permits? Hearing none, machine is open. And the permits are adopted 7 with 1 abstention. We move to item number 8. Do we have a, you going to vote on number 8?
No.
Number 8 is offered by Councilmember Black. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Lapine. Any comments or discussion on Daybrook Fisheries number 8?
I'll be present, not voting, sir.
Mr. Edgecombe will be present and not voting. Any other comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none?
Council Chair.
Yes. Councilman
I
Salvo.
mentioned to Councilman Black early on, I think it was legislation that he was present and not voting, and I think it's incumbent upon the chairman, the councilman, to indicate the reason that they're present and not voting, rather than, that's something I think that the audience would like to know. If there's a conflict that the reason you're not voting due to a conflict, I think it should be stated.
Yes, ma'am, I can address that. I work for Shell Oil Company full-time, so in oil and gas permits, a lot of times permits may be applied for by other subsidiary companies, and instead of reading through every permit, I'm just going to abstain from all permit votes or any votes that affect operation of oil and gas.
Council, I appreciate your comment, Mr. Black, but maybe this question is to the council chair. Do you think it should be policy or something that we should want to move into, having that policy a part of our process?
Well, just off the top of my head, the individual council member has the right to vote or not vote on any item that he wants to choose, that he has a conflict, or he believes he has a conflict in. As far as a policy, I think the ethics policy would probably be something that's already on the books, and if they have a personal interest, that they shouldn't vote on anything they have a personal interest in. The charter prohibits any council member from voting on an item of personal interest, and I know that hasn't been the policy in the past, but it definitely should be the policy of this council that if you have a personal interest in anything that comes before this board, that you should not vote on that item. And if you want them to state it, then I think that'd be an ideal situation.
I'm only throwing it out there for a discussion. I'm not trying to enforce anything upon anyone. I just thought it would be a good policy.
If I may, as far as this particular permit here, that, that's on the board right now, you know, I'm gonna be present, not voting, because that's pretty much the same, this type of construction, this work, is pretty much what I do. So, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna be present, not voting, you know, as far as this particular permit.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you. Just to reiterate the issue, the charter is very clear on a council member not voting on anything of personal interest, whether it be a liquor license, assigning office space, or anything of that nature. So in the future, if you want to make that disclosure, that would be fine, but I think that it's imperative upon the individual council member to make that decision and disclose that if they so desire. Yes, sir, Mr. Wood.
Yes, I'm glad you started putting it on the agenda, because at one time it wasn't on the agenda, so that's new. But you just talked about a lawsuit earlier. Now, we give all these people permits, all these basically companies now. What kind of protection, what kind of mechanism we got in place to make sure they don't mess up the environment? You know, all we do is pass things, but I don't really know what we passing look like sometimes. That's why we're in this situation now.
Appreciate your comment.
Yeah.
I would
So, you know, I think we gotta start being a little bit more, see what's happening, what's going on here, man. We pass a lot of construction permits, but then we don't wanna sue when they mess up the environment. Something wrong with that picture.
May I speak, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Williams?
Mr. Henry, it is my intention to try to draft some kind of legislation going forward that we have some kind of monitoring on these permits. Just for your information.
For years.
Thank you. At this time, we have a resolution on the floor to approve Daybrook Fisheries, number 8 on the agenda, offered by Councilmember Black, seconded by Councilmember Lupino. Any further discussion on the item? Hearing none, the sheet is open. And the resolution is adopted approving the permit. We move to item B. And let me ask this. Most of these are trailer park renewals. Many of them are under Ms. Williams' name and a few are under Ms. Salmon's name. It would be appropriate if we would like to take all of Ms. Williams in globo.
Correct,
And
I
Ms.
agree.
Salmon's in globo. All of them. Then we will take B through P in global unless someone has one that they'd like to take out of order. So we'd ask the Secretary to read B through P.
4B, Bristow US LLC, Third Trailer Residence, 109 Dennis Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4C, Naomi Mobile Home Community, David Junker, 2015 Park Renewal, Naomi Bell Chase, Louisiana. 4D, Shady Oaks Trailer Park, Frank Daigle, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Shady Oaks Lane, Bell Chase, Louisiana. 4E, Goodman's Trailer Park, Ty Goodman, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Goodman Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4F, Adams Trailer Park, Harold Adams Sr., 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Adams Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4G, Danos Reynolds LLC, Anthony Danos, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, RP Lane, Triumph, Louisiana. 4H, LZ Properties LLC, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Sooner Lane, Venice, Louisiana. 4I, Harvey Properties, Todd Harvey, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Sooner Lane, Venice, Louisiana. 4J, Willis Castay, Camper Trailer in the Floodplain, 148 East Cass Lane, Lake Hermitage, Louisiana. 4K, Jim's RV Park, Jim Boyd, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Shadow Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4L, Riverside Trailer Park, Jim Boyd and Yvonne Adolph, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Riverside Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4M, Emmett Trailer Park Number 1, Yvonne Adolph, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Yvonne's Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4N, Emmett Trailer Park Number 2, Yvonne Adolph, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Emmett's Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4O, Gladys Trailer Park, Road Von Lee, 2015 Trailer Park Renewal, Gladys Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. 4P Tiffany Branhurst Camper Trailer in the floodplain, 139-C West Bayou Lane, Lake Hermitage, Louisiana.
We have a motion to accept items B through P. Councilman Edgecombe moves, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Any comments or discussion on those items? Yes, Councilmember Sonia.
Yes, I would like to just add, Mr. Chair, that maybe just a comment. I expect, it's my expectation when these permits come before the council, that they have been properly vetted by the permit department. You know, if we're doing this in global and in my name and our name being attached to these things, you know, I'm hoping that they have been properly vetted and I can rest assured with my name being attached to it that it's within the guidelines and the specifications of this government. You know, and another thing before, I also would like to say, when a permit comes before this council, you know, when it comes before, if it doesn't make the agenda, you know, I know we have to have the authority to add it to the agenda by way of a suspension. But I would hope to see that if a permit has not made the agenda, that it be held over to the next council meeting. If it's not an emergency of some sort, you know, and that way we can make sure they get the proper vet.
Any further comments? Just to add to that, I would ask as well that when the permits do come, that they be completely filled out. I know that there's a history of permits that have been adopted in the past where they're not completely filled out, and I would just ask that the permit department insist on all of the blanks being filled in, because it has caused some problems in the past.
We'll bring that matter to the permit department and Mr. Metcalf.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Edgecombe, second by Ms. Williams, to approve those items B through P. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, floor is open. And the permits are adopted, 8-0. Move now to item 5, introductions of
Mr.
ordinances.
Chairman, before we go on to introductions, I'm
Yes,
sorry. I would like to offer, to seek a suspension of the rules. There was a permit that was not added. It was a miscommunication. I would like to seek a suspension of the rules to add an item to the agenda. It is a permit for Cameron Rental and Tank, application number 2015118, to obtain a business occupancy certificate.
Is there any objection to the item read adding to the agenda for consideration at today's meeting? Hearing none, so ordered.
Thank you.
You'll offer?
Yeah.
Distribute it down. There's a second offered by Councilman Williams, second by Councilman Edgecombe. Any comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none, machine is open. And the item is adopted 8-0. Thank you. Now we will move to introduction of ordinances and resolutions. Item number 5 on the agenda. Councilmember Dowling.
A resolution authorizing Director Parish President to have the administration install Highway 15 street signs and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and orders to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan for Highway 15 repair project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Black.
Yes, I have two for District 2. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of property for parcel 2, parcel 3, parcel 4, and tract V, Hodge Hunt Tract, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plans of the plat, survey by Dupran Surveying Engineering Incorporated, dated August 25th, 2014. The owner having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance the parish of Plaquemines, without cost of the Plaquemines Parish government, of the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan by appropriating $100,000 for the repairs, District 2, Kimball Street, Windsor Drive, and Eve Street project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And if it's allowed, Mr. Chairman, I want to offer an ordinance by Councilmember Byrd, who was unable to be here. I want to introduce the ordinance. An ordinance to amend the general fund 2015 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget by creating and funding an unclassified director of recreation position and by transferring the duties and functions for general management and control over all matters related to the recreation facilities, parks and monuments from the Director of Public Service to the Director of Recreation, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all.
Councilmember Lapine.
A resolution authorizing the parish of Plaquemines and state of Louisiana to proceed with the insurance of not exceed $12,750,000 of revenue refunding bonds of parish of Plaquemines, state of Louisiana, providing certain terms of said bonds, making application to the State Bond Commission for approval of said bonds, appointing bond counsel, a financial advisor and underwriter, and providing for what other matters in connection therewith.
I have an ordinance to rescind, annul, and set aside ordinance number 1486 adopted April 24, 2014, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Thank you. I have three. A resolution urging the Louisiana State Legislature to amend the applicable laws pertinent to the official journals of parishes, municipalities, and school boards, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Excuse me. A resolution adopting a policy wherein the parish attorney and all assistant parish attorneys shall be employed on a full-time basis, and an ordinance on behalf of the judges to amend the General Fund 2015 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget by creating an unclassified secretary administrative position for Division A of the 25th Judicial District Court, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And on this introduction, I would ask that the Finance Department find a mechanism to take it out of the criminal court fund as they stated in the introduction. Thank you. Councilmember Salvo.
An ordinance to amend the 2015 operating revenue and expenditure budget general fund, permits general department for the revenues and expense related to administrative fees for borrowed pits and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I have none, sir.
Councilman Winnie.
An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of Farrell L. Avis, Larry S. Avis, and Harold M. Avis, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on map of re-subdivision of Harold Avis property into tracts AV-1, AV-2, and AV-3, Boothville, Louisiana, by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated August 4, 2014, the owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivisions and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Thank you. Is that all? Any other introduction? If not, we'll move to item 682. 681 was deferred. 682.
An ordinance by the Plaquemines Parish Council as and on behalf of the Beers Levy District to appropriate new perpetual levy easements and new temporary work area easements in certain portions of lands in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, to construct a New Orleans to Venice NOV-14 Sector Gate-Empire Lock project in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, for levee, drainage, flood, and hurricane protection purposes, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Officer.
Councilman Edgecombe offers. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Williams.
Thank you. Pretty much what this is this needs to appropriate some new areas for the new work for the new sector gate, the Empire locks. It needs some more area for construction. If anybody has any further questions or technical questions, Mr. L.V. Cooley is present to answer any of them.
Any comments, questions?
It's just in reference to all projects
State your name and address for the record, please.
17083 Highway 15, Point Lahash, Louisiana. My name is Keelan Williams. My question is, it's just it's in reference to all projects in the parish, companies coming in, state projects, we need a minority business program.
I think you're later on the agenda today, aren't you?
Yeah, but
Okay,
that's
we'll
not
take you
it.
up
I'm
there.
just saying, you're saying there's a project, they're gonna build a new Empire Locks or something like that?
Yes, sir, this is a United States Army Corps of Engineer project.
So we should, what I'm saying is the parish can implement a program it's called Project Labor Agreements, to where the local community get the first job, even though it's a Army Corps of Engineers contract, you could still have the federal government, the contractors from the federal government hire local people. That's all I'm saying. With every project, even with the oil companies that come in, how many, when they apply for new permits, they should have a number of jobs that's going to be given out to local people, is all I'm saying.
Thank you. Any further discussion on item 682? Hearing none, the machine is open.
Thank you.
It's adopted to 8-0. Move to item 3, 683.
An ordinance to accept portion bid of Hillcore Energy ILP for mineral lease purposes on Parish Tract 15-1 covering parish-owned property located in sections 14, 22, and 23, T2, 1S, R2, 8E, estimated to contain approximately 464,000 acres, more or less, Bastion Bay Field, Bureau's Levy District, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer next for a second. Second by Councilmember Juno. What this is an offering of lease of land, which is that 25% minimum royalty that we are requiring, and it's revenue to the parish. Any comments or discussion on the item?
Yeah, you said the 25% royalty.
Yes, sir.
Has there been any kind of prediction on how much gonna come out that?
Not till they drill the well and they successful. What comes out of it at this point is that we are leasing the acreage, 464 acres for $200 per acre, which is $92,800 cash payment, and then annual rental of $46,400 and 25% royalty for all oil, gas, and other liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons that come out of the ground if they find.
How long is the lease for?
It'll be held by production.
Okay.
If it's produced. Thank you. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, machine is open. Yes, Mr. Turner.
Burgard Turner, 161 East Bellevue, Port South, Louisiana. Mr. Roussel, you said that it's $92 per acre?
No, sir, $200 per acre, $92,800 cash payment for 464 acres.
Okay, but the price is, what's the price per acre?
$200 per acre.
Okay, the only reason I'm mentioning it is that you might want to come up with a standard, because I've seen it $2.60-something cents per acre. And so this is very good what you have there, Mr. Chairman. I just ask that you would, or ask the administration to come up with a standard, so we don't charge one company $200 per acre and another one $263 an acre. So very good, thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none, machine is open. And the item is adopted 7-0 to 1 abstention, Councilmember Black. Move to item 6A5, Councilmember Williams.
An ordinance authorizing Amos J. Cormier Jr., Parish President, on behalf of the Bureau's Levy District, accept acts of donation from First Equity, Inc., George Pivach II, as trustee of the Jacqueline Burris Gardner Grandchild's Trust, and Equiland, Inc., to obtain ownership of the properties identified as tracts 23.01, 73.01, and 105 located between Fort Jackson and Venice, for use by the Plaquemines Parish government for the Reach B2 Vegetative Ridge and Marsh Creation Project and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
This is simply what it stated. It's a donation of land in order to complete the, or go forward with the.
You offered?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Edgecombe. Any comments or discussion? Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just would like the council to consider. What I'm trying to do right now, because of the budget crunch, is the B2 Vegetated Ridge project in this Venice area does not have the total funding necessary to complete that project. The original bond, I think, was 65 million. 59 million is what we actually came up with the parish, and there's approximately 44 million left. I would like to take that project and suspend it and take some of that money and move it to the East Bank levy, back levy position so that we can complete that project over there. And of course also look at some other projects throughout the parish that we can utilize this money in a better, and more efficient method. So at this time, I guess what I'm asking for is on that B2 Vegetated Ridge that we would maybe defer until we get everything in order.
No problem. That's fine. We can defer that one as well as the next one.
Item 6A5 and 6A6 will be deferred. We will move to item L.
An ordinance to amend the 2015 operating budget and the 5-year capital improvements plan and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilmember Lapine.
I'll offer with changes. I'll be passing out the changes.
Everybody got it?
Yes.
I'll go over the changes. On line 38, we'll be scratching out, taking out the sheriff's office court sulfur, $373,422. And we'll be inserting a line 51. It will be waterproofing. The project will be waterproofing Port Sulphur Government Building, $148,997,000. Line 52 would be repairs Empire Floodgate, $60,822.32. And line 53, construction Empire Boat Harbor, $163,802.68. And I think this will come in, I'll offer these changes and ask for a second.
Councilman Lee offers, is there a second?
I'll second, sir.
Second by Councilmember Edgecombe.
These changes are to offset the project that was eliminated. This is to get in line with $7 a barrel. If there's any questions, I refer to Mr. Tommy Serpez.
This time, questions, comments?
I have a comment.
Councilman Stalin.
Totally against it, because I think we need to go down to $50 a barrel or 55 and be done, and playing games with $70 a barrel. Right now, it's at $47 a barrel, that's $70. And this is not good government, we are malfeasant, because we are doing a budget that's not funded, that's a projection. And as oil prices are, it is not gonna happen. And we're sitting here doing bogus finances. And the corporation is not fair, not right, not correct, according to what we base the oil revenues on at this point in time. I cannot vote for that, nor would I ever vote for it, because it's not balancing the budget properly, based on the income of funds. Now, we can all sit here and assume it's the detriment of a whole lot of stuff. What is what it is, and that's what you need to do. Play the games if you want, and I'm voting no.
Any further comments? Yes. Councilman Williams?
I'm just, I'm in agreement to an extent with, Councilmember Dalamy. I know that we've discussed having budget hearings coming up, so maybe we may consider deferring this at this time until we can get together and figure out how we can get where we need to be.
Thank you. Councilman Chavez?
Mr. Chairman, I think, I just want to echo what Council Lady Williams just said. There's a projected, we have a potential of having a budget hearing within 10, 12 days. I think we should put everything on hold, defer all finances until we address the budget.
Councilman King, we have an item on the agenda today that we will hold budget hearings if this item is approved, Monday, February 23rd, Tuesday and Wednesday as well. From the comments that you've heard, is your intention to defer this, or would you support a deferral? I'll come to you 1 second.
I really would like to get a feeling from our finance manager, Tommy Surpass. Ask Tommy where we should go from here, Tommy.
I just want to say,
Before you speak, Tommy, let me interject real quick. If we move forward with this vote, and it passes at 70, it doesn't mean that after we have a budget hearing, we can't introduce another resolution to go down again, if we have to.
absolutely not. And
Okay.
I'm in favor of going down. He's exactly right. I looked at the price this morning, it was $53 a barrel.
Right, I understand, but what I'm saying is, if we vote on this to go down to 70 and have budget hearings, we can reintroduce it and go down again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So John, so Councilman Bartholomew, this is kind of, it shows that we've taken action immediately. We need to take action, we need to cut the items that we decided to cut, and then after we convene with the budget hearing, if we want to go down further, we can have another introduction and go down further. Is it correct to say that the state just convened a budget hearing and we did it at $69 a barrel?
Yes, the committee met and it went down to 69 some odd thousand.
Okay, so $1 off
Right.
from where we're at.
Right.
Councilmember Bathalli. Are you finished, Councilman Black?
Yes.
Fact remains where it is and where we need to be. There's nothing in between. Now, are we fiscal responsible? No, we're not, because we know what the deficit is, and we know what the oil prices are. Are we compromising to that extent? No, we're not. We're just doing just the opposite. We're just prolonging what has to be done. Now, why do that this time when you come back after the meeting, the budget hearing, and do it properly and correctly? Because this is a malfeasance to me. When you know it is not meeting the standards. We don't have the projection of the money in hand. So that's, I just can't see that.
Mr. Chairman, I just think that we agreed to these projects, to take these projects off the table. And I think the thing to do is this not getting us where we need to be. Absolutely not. I think we need to be below this. But by doing this, we're taking these projects out of play and getting them off the table where they can't be, the money can't be spent. That's all I'm looking at.
I'm not talking about projects, I'm talking what is.
Can you repeat what you just said? I don't think all of the council members were.
Right, I'm just
What
saying.
is your advice? Your advice is to go ahead and move on?
My advice has always been to get us down, at least do something. Get us down to the $70.
In line with the state.
In line with the state. And I do agree, we need to try to get down further to the $50. Because right now, I mean, the amount we're getting right now is what, $50 a barrel?
Right,
$53 a barrel.
but I'm not saying it's gone. Nobody knows that, like Councilman Tommy just said.
Right.
But it could go up. It could.
It possibly could.
So we don't know, as he said, we don't know if it's gonna go down further, but we also don't know if it's gonna go up further. So my stance is that we move on it, we vote on 70, we get rid of the projects now that we've all agreed on, or the majority's agreed on, and then we come back again if it continues to stabilize at 50 or even further, and reassess after we have a budget hearing. But we need to make a move to get some of these off the table immediately. That's my opinion, I'll defer to
Councilmember Fallon?
Well, the move is to go down to 50, and it was already said before that we should go down to 55, I'm sorry, 55. And that was never done. That was always suggested. When it was 90, when it was $80, when it was $60, $70. I mean, everybody else, but we didn't do it.
One at a time, please.
So I mean, it's not knowing that we didn't make that projection or suggestion was made, it was made. And the majority of the council at that time was agreeable to that. So now we decide to have a budget hearing to really get to the nitty-gritty of it and get it all over with. I just took the time in 2 weeks, and then we're going to come back and do another thing about amending the budget and maybe amend some projects or whatever. But why go through all that? Because it's false pretense. Do it now.
Are you completed?
Yes, sir.
Let me just say this. The state's budget is at 69, but it's also a different fiscal year. Their fiscal year ends in July, so they're catching up right now. I think from the discussion that we're having here, it would be in all of our interest to have the budget hearing, which will be on the agenda in a little while. I'll ask for suspension of the rules, move forward with it all at one time, and rather than us sit here and debate where we're going with it, let's have the budget hearing and move forward. And Mr. Lapini, if you defer this item, I think we can end the discussion and move forward.
Oh,
Yes, Mr. Henry.
administration, could you give us your point of view on this?
Yeah, we had called for a pre-budget hearing in 7 days, so I think it would be prudent to wait until next week, this coming Monday, and then go from there.
Okay, you know, under the parish charter, you have to have a balanced budget, and balance the budget with due economics.
Let me just refer to that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Mr. Henry, this government came into office, like, I guess, 40 days ago. The budget that we inherited was based on $96 a barrel. It was based on $700,000 of revenue for water and sewer increases that did not exist. And as a result of that, we are inheriting this voodoo economics that you referred to. And I assure you that we will deal with that at the budget hearing that we call on Monday. But in reflection of what we had asked the previous government, and I'm getting into a realm that I didn't want to get into, but there was a budget hearing called and they refused to address these issues then. And at this point, we have inherited and we will have to address it. And I assure you, we will address it.
And being the new administration, could have did it from day one.
Excuse me?
Being a new administration, why you couldn't do it from day one?
Well, we could only do what we can introduce.
Right.
And we had asked for introductions at the previous budget hearing, which we had not the benefit of. And at this point, you give us 40 days, we will handle it.
Okay, just can't do voodoo economics and balance the budget, that's all.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in answer to Mr. Henry's comments, I don't think, in other words, it's the position of the council nor the position of the administration to panic. What we've got to do is take our time and methodically approach a situation that we did not create. And so as a result of that, that's why we're having the budget hearings in a week.
Can I make another comment? Yes.
One second,
Hey,
Mr. Henry.
I agree with
Mr. Henry.
that, I have no problem with that, boy.
Hold on a second.
You're talking to me, so I gotta reply.
I'll defer to Mr. Henry to answer,
Thank you. Yes.
The items, is it the opinion of the finance department, the items on 6L that's listed, if we don't move forward, aren't we just gonna go and cut these immediately at the budget hearing?
Let me just say this. What we are doing here, we are splitting the administration and the finance department, trying to get them on two separate pages, and I would not like to see us do that.
That's right.
You've heard the parish president make his recommendation. The The finance department works for the parish administration, and I think that we should not be splitting them in this position and putting Mr. Serpents on the spot that he is now sitting on.
What I'm gonna say is that if y'all would rather defer this, it's not gonna hurt to defer the thing until we go through the budget. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing I was looking at is trying to get some of these projects off the books, but it doesn't look like we're gonna do it, move on any of these projects anyway, so, if you wanna defer, I think that'd be.
Let me just ask this. Ask Mr. President, would you make sure that your administration takes no action to spend 1 penny of the items on this list?
Council can rest assured that we will be working with you completely.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with that, I'll defer the item.
Item's been deferred. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will move to item 8A.
A resolution authorizing and directing Linfield Hunter and Julius Inc. to continue to design and production of construction documents for the Point-a-la-Hash Courthouse and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilmember Without.
Yes, we met with the firm.
We can't hear you in your mic.
We met with Linfield Hunter firm, with the president, myself, and Mr. Russo. We came to a clear understanding that this project is to move forward with no stoppage, no interference other than from the president himself. So we're on task, we're on target, we're in a process. Hopefully in 3 years or less, we will have these meetings at the courthouse in the county seat. So just think about that what's going on. And I want to thank the president for setting up the meeting with Linfield Hunter and Julius to do that. So everybody's on the same page as far as the courthouse project is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Withdraw with that, Mr. President. I'll withdraw it from the agenda.
Withdrawn. Double A is withdrawn. We move to item BB.
An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan for the emergency generator government complex administration building project and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilmember Black, office. Second by Councilmember Lapine. Councilmember Black, comments, questions? No. Any comments or questions? Hearing, Councilmember? Offer is read. Mr. Turner.
Berghoff Turner, again, 161 East Belton, Port Suffolk. What's the cost? Is there a cost associated with it?
No, sir, there's no cost. This grant has already been awarded. There's no cost to the parish at all. It's $124,800.
What's the source of the grant? Where is it coming from?
It's LGAP. Louisiana Local Government Assistance Program.
Thank you.
Any further comments or discussion on item 6BB? Hearing none, she is open. And items adopted 8-0. We move to item CC.
A resolution appointing the members of the Board of Commissioners, Hospital Service, District Number 1, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer an X for a second, and I'll distribute the.
That's a change.
Where is the change?
Spelling of the name.
Okay, but that's in the.
Yeah, okay.
Offer with these changes.
All right, thank you.
Correction is in the changes.
Nope.
This is a resolution appointing the members of the Board of Commissioners, Hospital Service District Number 1, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This is an item that we had 9 different items on the agenda that was withdrawn earlier today because of the fact that we're going to do one resolution appointing these members. So I offer. Second? Second by Councilmember Juneau. Any comments or discussion on item CC? Hearing none, she is open. Order. Move to item 6. Oh, the item is adopted, 8-0. Thank you. The next item is DD.
A resolution to appoint the members of the Plaquemines Parish Economic Development Board and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer an extra second.
A second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. This is the same scenario that I mentioned earlier. We had 9 items on the agenda today which was withdrawn, or several items on the agenda, and these are the appointments for the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning and Development Board. Any comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none, machine is open. And the item is adopted 8-0. Thank you. We move to item EE.
A resolution to appoint the members of the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning Development Board and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer an extra second. Councilmember Lapine seconds. This is the members for the zoning board. Any comments or discussion on item EE?
For public information, could you name the names of the members on the planning board, please?
On EE, it's Representative Ronald Becknow, District 1, whose term ends December 31st, 2018. David Clark, Representative for District 3, whose term ends December 31st, 2018. Mike Scorsone, Representative for District 6, whose term ends December 31st, 2018. Chad LaFrance, Representative for District 7, whose term ends December 31st, 2018. Frank Frelich, Representative for District 8, whose term ends December 31st, 2018. And reaffirming the existing members that are there now would be Rodney Gunnell, Representative for District 2, who ends term 2018. Sonny Honay, Representative for District 4, whose term ends December 2018. Jeffrey DeMarco, Representative for District 5, whose term ends December 2018. And Bernard Backus, Representative for District 9, whose term ends December 31st. And then at-large members would be Mike D'Amico, at-large member, and Victor Scorsone.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Quick question. Who appointed those people?
Those recommendations come from the individual council members and the at-large positions from the parish president.
I asked the parish to appoint at least one African American to the board. Oh, well, there's Chad LaFrance, he's from Port South, but on the East Bank, we need some black representation.
Asking me a question?
No.
Nobody wanted it.
Oh, you didn't
So
come
what's
to
that?
All right.
Any further comments or discussion on the item? Being none, the machine is open.
The truth, I'm not lying.
Item EE, the machine is open.
What you need me to do?
Vote.
All right.
And the item is adopted 8-0. Thank you. We move to item FF.
A resolution approving Plaquemines Parish government entering into an agreement with defendants HHE Company, formerly known as Hassie Hunt Exploration Company, hereinafter HHEC, Vintage Petroleum Inc., hereinafter Vintage, Apache Corporation, hereinafter Apache, and Hillcorp Energy Company, hereinafter Hillcorp, in the Plaquemines Parish Government versus Chevron Texaco Corp. et al., 25th JDC number 48-614, to settle and compromise claims authorizing Parish President Amos Cormier Jr. to execute settlement documents on behalf of Plaquemines Parish Government and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer an extra second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Juno. Any comments or discussion? Hearing none, the machine is open. Mr. Lawrence.
Could they just see Warren Lawrence, just kind of an explanation for the public on their value to this, the money value, or what was the suit about?
This is a suit that went back into the 80s, and what it was a dispute between the parish and the state over water bottles. And it's a settlement on a basis that is deemed advisable by the parish president, who will make that decision. And it's a value of approximately, I believe this is the one for $700,000. Any further comments or discussion on item 6HH? Hearing none, the machine is open. Item is adopted 7-0 with one abstention. Councilmember Black abstained. Move to item II. I skipped HH, I'm sorry.
You did defer.
Yes, item GG will be deferred. Thought I had said that earlier. HH.
A resolution approving the Plaquemines Parish government entering into an agreement with remaining parties in lawsuit styled Plaquemines Parish Government versus State of Louisiana and Chevron USA Inc., 25th JVC number 33-953, C/W number 34-211, Division B, hereinafter track 87 lawsuit, to settle and compromise claims, authorizing Parish President Amos Cormier Jr. to execute settlement documents on behalf of Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer an extra second. Councilman Juno seconds. Is there comments or discussion?
You can explain it.
Same question.
This is the one I just explained.
Yeah. What was previous?
The previous one was. Let me go back to that.
I thought you explained it previously.
I was. I have two here.
Right.
This is what Apache Vintage was the previous one.
Is that 700,000?
No, this is the one I just explained was 700,000. This one is a cleanup, the one previous. Hey, too confused. Sorry about that.
Down the law.
The machine is open.
Is there a dollar figure? That's what we asked.
No, this is a cleanup, and I'd have to get an explanation from Mr. Cooley, and I don't see him. Mr. Cooley, can you come clarify my confusion?
FF was the 700,000. HH is 725,147 less than court costs.
So 1,700, 1,725, that's my confusion.
FF is, he said.
F&F is a cleanup.
Correct.
All right, and H&H is a concursus monies in the registry of the court, which we're entitled to receive.
You've been sitting back there, and I thought you left me. Let me get out.
No, you had it.
Yeah. Thank you. Any further comments on H? Machine is open. And the item is adopted 7-0, one abstention, Councilmember Black. Now we go to II.
A resolution to appoint the representative of the Plaquemines Parish Legal Department to the Coastal Zone Advisory Committee and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer the X for a second. Second by Councilmember Edgecombe. This is to replace Mike Mullen with Mr. Shane Landry on the Coastal Zone Advisory Board. Any comments or discussion? Hearing none, she is open. And the item is adopted 8-0. Item JJ.
A resolution authorizing the parish president, Amos Cormier Jr., to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Plaquemines Parish government and the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, and further authorizing the parish president to sign on behalf of Plaquemines Parish government any and all documents necessary and proper to perfect or enforce this agreement.
I'll offer an X for a second and X for
Second.
second by who?
Me.
Councilmember Donovan.
Does the administration have any comments on this?
This is a grant for $762,000, 619.
Thank you. We are in the 700,000 range today. Any comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none, machine is open. The item is adopted 8-0. We will defer KK today. Move to LL. LL will be deferred. MM will be withdrawn. It's the item that rejects the bid, which we accepted a little while ago in the confusion. Move to item OO.
An ordinance amending and as amended re-adopting rules 4, 5, and 6 of chapter 2 of section 2-18 of the Code of Ordinances for Plaquemines Parish and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Sabo.
Okay, when we initially started on this, opened the floor up for amending what was put in place back by the old council, by the previous council, which was to, they thought it was in best interest of a few select people to appoint a port committee. But when I was elected council to represent District 7, I was handed a handbook, which is commonly known as the charter. And if you refer to the legislative powers that is vested into the council under item A, the last interjection areas, it states that the council will serve as the sole governing authority for the Plaquemines Parish, Port, Harbor, and Terminal District. And I think you can't get any simpler than that. This is what the intent of the charter was. I don't know what the intent was of the selected group that felt there was a need. There was a need to establish a port committee. But I'm all for transparency, and I know for a fact, under that port committee, that was lack thereof. Even within this current council, I think the newly elected chairman, he sent, I think all of us can attest to the fact that he sent out some invoices that was submitted by our former council attorney, Mr. Ratburn. And I was blown away. I was blown away. There was questions that the community of Ironton came constantly to that table and was asking the administration on things such as the rail. Where's the rail? It's the relocation of the rail. Are you guys what are you planning on doing with the rail? And the administration stood and looked us in the face and told us, we don't know, we don't have an idea, there's no discussion on there. And it was clearly indicated in some of Radburn's invoices of the communication that he had with several councilmen of that port committee, that it was clear conversation had taken place. And I don't feel that that's transparent. I don't feel that this entire council is getting the information that they should. The charter dictates that that port should be represented and falls under the sole authority of this council. And I think we should abide by our charter, which is our handbook. So I'm gonna leave my comment there, and Mr. Chairman, if you,
Councilman Salvin offers, I second. Is there any comments or discussion further? Councilmember Lapine.
Got a question for the legal department. Would this ordinance need to come under the port? Why shouldn't this come under the port activity instead of the council?
Trying to turn this thing on. Push the button. Actually, to be honest with you, it really should come under the agenda for the Port Harbor Terminal District. This is really not the proper forum for it. That's our opinion.
Mr.
Yes,
Joe, are you familiar with the council rules and ordinance that this was made? This is what amended the council rules?
I'm not following you, Mr. Wilson.
This is...
This has to do with the port. All I'm saying to you is it has to do with the port. I think it should come before, legally, I think it should come in the first part of your meeting when you have the port meeting. That's all. I'm not saying kill it or anything. I'm just...
I understand, but I'm trying to get clarification so you'll understand what we're doing. And what we are doing is, as a council, we are rescinding basically what the council did to get us to the point to where we had a port committee. So I think that it's only appropriate that the council rescind what they did, and the port has no authority to rescind what the council did.
That may be correct. You might be absolutely correct. The problem that I have, it's not really a problem, is that it should be on, I think, at least that's our opinion, that this ordinance should come in the first meeting y'all have, you know, with the Port Authority. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I respectfully disagree with you, but thank you for your comments.
With that being said, I would like to just ask that this be deferred. I have some questions for the director of the port. They're not here. In relation to this ordinance, this amendment.
Mr. Turner.
Excuse me, Mr. Russell. I'm really not having an opinion one way or the other on the ordinance at all. I'm just talking about procedurally. It more properly belongs in the agenda for the Port Authority meeting, which comes before your regular meeting.
And as I said, I respectfully disagree with you because this is the council taking action to undo what the council did.
I understand.
So I respectfully disagree with you, but thank you for your comments.
Okay.
Mr. Turner.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, with you attending many of the meetings, you were witness to a lot of what took place. And we passed legislation on both sides, on the council side and on the port side, pertaining to the port. And you're absolutely correct, and as Ms. Salvon read in the charter, that this council is the sole governing authority. And so as the governing authority, it's proper that you take action at this table, at the council. And so you're definitely in order. I agree with what you're doing. You have my full support on that. And this council should act. Should act. And if you decide to address it on the council side, that's fine. But at a minimum, you still have to address it here because legislation was passed both on the council side also. So you're definitely in order, and I fully support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Salvo?
Mr. Russo, I totally agree with you. As we see in the charter, you don't need to put 3 or 4 people on the council running the port. The port is supposed to be run by the entire council.
Thank you.
I just want to remind the council, we keep referring back to the former council and the lack of transparency. And we do have 7 new council members. So to paint that brush is a disservice to 7 new members that are on. And I have no idea what the other 2 members, how they voted on these issues in the past. But I would like to try to refrain in the future from bringing back old non-transparency to reflect on the new council. We do have 7 new council members here, so that's all. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments, and I appreciate that. And some of the problems that I've seen developing over the years is people forget where they come from. People forget what they stood for to get where they're at. And to be able to ignore the past is a grave disservice to where we are today. And I mean no disparaging comments on anyone sitting in this room. But to stick your head in the sand and pretend like something didn't happen is not going to solve the problem. And so, I mean, I apologize if it offends anyone at this table that you think that I'm saying that anyone at this table is not transparent. But having come from watching what has developed and see what we have inherited in this government, I just can't ignore the past trying to correct the future. So I thank you, and I apologize if anyone takes it personal, but transparency is of the utmost in my mind, and it has always been. And Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, Warren Lawrence, Murder Grove. I was just asking that, I look at it from the standpoint that the Port Authority has no power to change the code of ordinances in this parish. This is strictly within this body. You can wait and go to the port, and they have no authority to change this back. It started here. What started here has to start back here to correct it. This ordinance amendment cannot be amended by the Port Authority the way I read it. And I asked legal, if that is not correct, then correct me on it. You know, I just don't see the authority of the port to amend the code of ordinances.
It's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying, very simply, is that at the beginning of council meetings, there's a separate meeting for the Port Authority.
And at that meeting, they can't amend the code of ordinances.
I understand that, but I think it probably would be a better, more legal, well, all I'm telling you is it belongs on that docket, is all, that's our opinion, as opposed to here. Whatever goes with it is another story.
Okay. Thank you. Any further comments or discussion on the item? Mr. Wood, Office of the Attorney.
I just wanted to make a comment to Councilman Black, right? Statement about going back to past is very important because there so many people will come to this new council and think what you're doing is an extension of you. And I think there need to be a constant reminder to people about past actions so you don't do those things again. And I'm a little country boy, and we got a saying, if the cat fits you, wear it and wear it tight.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
my comment stands. I think we would be acting within our power, within our legislative powers. So with that being said, I'm going to call a question.
Questions been called, machine is open. The ordinance is adopted 5-3. Move to item QQ.
A resolution to declare the Monday before Mardi Gras an approved holiday for Plaquemines Parish government employees and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Salvo.
This is, it speaks for itself. My phones jumped off the hook, and a lot of the employees was calling me, asking me about the Monday before Mardi Gras, with Mardi Gras being a traditional holiday here in New Orleans and the neighboring communities. And I just agreed that I would bring it to my colleagues and let the chips fall where it may.
You offer?
I offer.
Councilman Salvo offers, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Any comments or discussion? Mr. Vaughn.
Warren Lawrence, Murder Grove. Just to be consistent, I have always said there's a cost. We're in desperate needs in this parish, and there's a cost involved. You grant another holiday, there's a cost factor in it. What I would suggest, and I have done it in the past and failed, but I guess I'll fail again today, it don't make any difference, is that instead of declaring another holiday, you amend your schedule that they work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 hours to make up for the holiday. They get it. It's not a holiday. The cost factor is what we're saying this parish is in. And coming from another area that, you know, I had employees of Surgeon Water Board, that's what we did. In other words, we amended schedules where they didn't create a holiday and create a cost factor. I mean, do what you want, but I think if you truly mean what you say and you're trying to say you're in dire straits, and I know there's been an argument that this, I've been told that this costs $6,000. I've been told it's $60,000. I've been told it's $160,000. I don't know what it costs. I've never been given from their previous group what it costs, but there is a cost involved in it. And before you do anything to do a cost, you should be able to state what that cost is. If you're going to expend money, you should have that on the table right now. Thank you.
And the bottom line is, Mr. Lawrence, these are our employees, our parish residents, and we spend money like crazy in the past, and I didn't see anybody coming up and speaking against it. So I say let the chips fall where it may.
Any further comments?
Hey, the finance have a plan on the cost of it? Hey, the people need to know.
No, sir, I don't have a cost on that right off.
There was never no analysis made on this.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, when we have asked for it, so I didn't.
Oh, the employees need a holiday. Give it to them. Thank you.
Real quick, finance. Is there an additional cost? We pay, if the employees show up to work, we pay them, right? So what's the cost? Are we adding any cost?
The only additional cost I would see is if somebody is on a shift worker, like an ambulance department, and they have to work and they get paid for the holiday in addition to the cost of them to work. Only shift workers.
So
Workers
those-
that work an 8-hour shift, they will come to work and they're gonna get paid for the holiday. They're gonna get paid either way.
Councilmember Thousan, I thought this would be.
Well, I guess we ought to save a few dollars. All them vehicles won't be on the road. That's being very conservative, as I said before. We'll be saving a few dollars towards the deficit. If you had the cost of the gas is about $2 a gallon right now. Some of them travel for 30 miles.
I'll let them use the car to go to the parade.
Yeah, well, they can't do that.
Let's come back to order. Any further comments or discussion on this item? Hearing none, the machine is open. 611. Okay. That's 6 yeas with Councilmember Doe and Jeff Edgecombe abstaining. We move to item 7A, new business. At this time, I would like to seek the suspension of the rules for an item to take up on today's agenda for action. The item that Secretary will read.
A resolution establishing the dates, times, and places of a budget review on the 2015 operating budget and on the proposed capital improvements budget covering a period of at least 5 years as submitted by the parish president and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Is there any objection to the suspension of the rules to take this item up today for action? Hearing none, I'll offer the following resolution. The next Secretary will present.
A resolution establishing the dates, times, and places of a budget review on the 2015 operating budget and on the proposed capital improvements budget covering a period of at least 5 years as submitted by the parish president and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer next for a second. Second by Councilmember Lapine. What this does, it establishes 3 days for budget hearings at the Bell Chase Library, starting on Monday, February 23rd at 9 a.m. and continuing through Tuesday and Wednesday, or until we are completed if sooner. I would ask that the administration line up for this budget hearing, the proper department heads and supervisors and so forth to be able to go through the budget. This will be a learning process for many members. I know that it hasn't been done in quite a long time as far as sitting there and going through the booklet as extensively as we need to do. And so if you could make a schedule for your people to come in at so many 30 minutes in intervals. Yes, ask that you schedule the appointments and can coordinate with the finance department to be able to work it out in an organized manner, so to speak. Mr. Surpass, would you like to have any input on this at this time?
Well, I can just say, yeah, we'll whatever y'all want to do, that's fine. We'll, we can get each department as it falls in the book, you know, and set them up by the given times and dates, and we can do it that way.
And will you have that list available again?
The list here? I'm probably sure we will.
Thank you.
Do we want to schedule those appointments on the Monday and Tuesday and leave Wednesday open for further discussion?
That would be great.
I'll get with the.
Be a good idea.
See if we can set something.
Thank you for that comment. Any further comments or any other ideas to make this move a little smoother? Mr. President?
Consider it done.
Thank you. Any comments? None? Machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 8-0. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. We move to item B, updated presentation by District 7, Councilmember Salo.
I think I'm gonna defer it.
Item will be deferred. We'll move to item C.
Yeah, we in good shape with the demolition, tiles at the courthouse in Fort Ash, also the tower. We have to install a new 250 feet tower, I think it is.
That's correct.
And after that is installed, we'll start taking the parts off the old tower and put them up on the new tower. And then we have to save the old tower because it's Phoenix tower, right? And we can't destroy it because Blair and Mr. Surveyor are going to be watching that, find out what shit all that stuff is there. But the demolition, right now, the whole up to the demolition is we're still in court. Another thing has been filed. And so soon we get the other part of this case here heard and ruled out favorably, we'll start the demolition. So everything is on track, on target.
Thank you. Yes, Mr.
Councilman John Bartholomew Jr., I just want to commend you as our councilman, and especially for your animation here today and the spirit that you've shown. It has been a long time since the East Bank had a council member that was staying as firm as you with the energy and spirit. So it's great to come back to this council and have someone that truly represents us and the spirit in which you do. That Spartan blood that got you talking today.
Any further comments? Being none, we'll move to item D. I believe Councilman Edgecombe will go first.
No, these are, you move forward here.
D?
Yes.
Okay. D, please.
Public hearing on a map change request application of the ZMP-2015-115 dated October 12, 2014, 35031 Highway 11, Beers, Louisiana, from a C2 to MH zoning district.
Councilmember Edgecombe.
Yes, I'll offer it.
Yes, my name is Bob Van Den. I live on 35031 Highway 11. I would like to rejoin, to bring my family, my brother, my sister come work with me. Because they live up to the north right now. They don't have a job to take care of the children. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further comments on the public hearing?
I want to ask you. Excuse me, sir. Are you opening up a trailer court?
We try to bring my
I understand that. Are you opening up?
Yes,
the
sir.
jail?
Yes, sir.
How many people you bring?
I have 4, plus my family has been 5.
So you're gonna bring in 5 trailers?
Yes, sir.
Was those 5 trailers put somewhere before illegally?
I don't understand, sir.
He asked that, were these 5 trailers previously located in another area? Where are these trailers coming from?
They still up there right now. We couldn't find they're not here yet. We try to get the permit. The councilor approved, then they should make decision.
So where are they right now?
They are up to the north.
Like
Chicago.
Chicago?
Yes.
You bringing trailers down from Chicago?
No. They had to move down here. They buy the trailer around here.
Yeah. So we're asking, where are the trailers, the mobile homes?
We try to find around here, around here. We don't know yet because my brother, sister, they live in the north right now.
They haven't bought them yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I had to get the permit before they bring over here.
So he said if he has to get the approval from the council.
Gotcha.
From what I gathered, it is for his brother and his sister to be put to place their trailer along Highway 11. Now,
Right.
as far as 5 trailers,
Okay, this is a public hearing anyway. Any other comments on the public hearing? Any other comments on the public hearing? Thank you, sir. Public hearing, item D is completed. We'll move to item E. Councilmember Bathalli.
Presentation regarding leasing a parish canal to develop into an African-American fishing lodge to add economic development by creating new jobs and tax revenue for the disadvantaged African-American East Bank community.
Mr. Williams.
Yeah, there's a canal that the parish had that was an old shipyard, I think, and it's been, not used for years. My uncle always had his boat there. His name is Darcy Nussey's. So I want to change the name of the canal to Darcy Nussey's Canal and build a fishing lodge for people to come in and sleep in Point LaHash and have a place to sleep to go fishing. A lot of the black people in the city, they scared to go fishing with white people. They think they're not coming back, so they want to go fishing with some blacks. So by doing that, we can create economic development for the poor blacks that aren't working. A lot of the fishermen over there haven't worked since the BP oil spill, which was, 2010, and a lot of them don't have any money due to not having economic development on the East Bank, no jobs. So if fishing is what they do, they need some way to go fishing. I'm hoping that the parish president use the economic development department and use some of the general fund and fund boats for the poor black fishermen that lost their boats through Katrina and BP oil spill. And there's also the Department of Treasury that has the BP deposits. And Louisiana gets the lion's share, which is 18% of the money deposited in that Department of Treasury account. And half the parish is on the East Bank, so we request from the parish president 8% of that 18%, which other parishes are only getting 11%, like Jefferson. It's the second allocation, second highest allocation is Jefferson Parish, and they get 11%. Well, we get 18, so hopefully the parish president will give the poor fishermen on the East Bank the 8%, and we can buy them boats and equipment and start a fisherman supply store and hopefully get a dollar store. We also want to build a fishing pier on the river in front of some of the houses out there where people can park their cars and walk out to the river by using these BP restoration funds. So that's what I have. But the parish had the canal there for a long time. Nobody did nothing with it. I tip y'all parish workers because they don't get paid that much to clean it. So
Now, before you go any further, you tipped the parish workers?
yeah.
Do you realize what you just said?
Y'all ain't paying them enough.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Can you excuse me? I just want you to make one comment, because I don't know all the people that keen to deal with, but I have a lot of white friends that have came down from New Orleans, black as well, and not afraid of coming to the East Bank of the River, because they know that one of the things about the East Bank of the River, we protect everybody.
Right.
And we have for years bringing congressional white and black members to Pearl Hatch fishing. Just had last week a white friend of mine working at the Geographic came out, and not only that, they went out hunting and fishing, and it was a core group of white and black. So I don't want to universalize that, because I want to make it clear that he's speaking from his opinion, and I just want to share mine, because I don't want nobody to think that white or black people cannot come to the East Bank of Plaquemines Parish. We protect everybody. I think that the East Bank of Plaquemines Parish have shown that Mr. Bartholomew can tell that the meeting they had, we had a meeting, and it was white people on the East Bank said, look, we need to meet together, not just as black people on the East Bank or black people, but meet as East Bank people. And we've been making sure that happened. I think Mr. Bartholomew would agree. I think we met with you, Mr. Comey. I think you saw the representation at the meeting that we had with you was a representation of black and white. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that not only East Bank, that be the president throughout this parish, that white and black in this parish, that we work together as a unit, and we got to put the ghosts of segregation, all that stuff in the past. It's a new day and time when I come to this council, and I see Audrey Salvin and Benny Roussel together, who was a part of integrating schools back. The fact that they're sitting on the council today, I think there's a lot of progress taking place in Plaquemines Parish, and we got to continue to lift up the progress that's taking place in race relationship in Plaquemines Parish.
Amen. Thank you.
There's a lot of progress, but not on the East Bank.
Now, are you, what item are you on now?
The next one, I'm on 3 of them in a row.
Okay, so item number E is completed. Now we move to item F.
Okay.
Discussion.
President.
Right, we got to read the F.
Sorry.
Discussion regarding the meeting with HUD and utilizing HUD programs to develop and build affordable housing on parish or private land.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Mr. Williams.
Well, I spoke with HUD in Washington, D.C., and in New Orleans. The guy that's over Louisiana is in New Orleans. He wants to have a meeting with the parish council in reference to coming in to build affordable housing on the East Bank. It's HUD programs. HUD has numerous programs. Choose one that will build affordable housing. Like we could use the Make It Right people from Brad Pitt to build the housing. We could build raised housing on the East Bank for our kids that go off to college to be able to come back with their talent. Everybody most of the people over there live 3 generations of families in one trailer, not even houses. So we need HUD to come in to build housing on the East Bank. St. Bernard Parish was sued and made to build housing, and now they have to allocate $80,000 worth of land or more to each developer that wants to come in to develop the land. It's mandatory that they do that. And they were made to build a housing department and funded for $40,000 a year in their federal lawsuit. It was done by the Justice Department against St. Bernard Parish. So in order for our kids to have somewhere to stay to come back to, we're going to have to build affordable housing, because they all leave and go to somebody else's parish or somebody else's city and not come back because there's nowhere for them to stay. So, HUD, H-U-D.
Can I ask you a question? Why you didn't get on the committee that Mr. John Bartholomew tried to get people on?
Well, I'm on the Economic Development Board.
There we go.
Thank you. Your meeting will be back.
Yeah.
Next item.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, before he leaves the podium, one of the problems they had with HUD was with the FEMA guidelines and regulations in some parts of the East Bank. But I can assure you our administration will be working with all citizens on the East and the West Bank.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Move to item G.
Discussion regarding development of local disadvantaged business inclusion program.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Mr. Williams.
Since all the East Bank residents mostly have been there through 4 and 5 generations, we need a black local business inclusion program. Say we get a street contract or some levy contract or a fuel contract for the ferries or something going on in the parish. There's no way for the local disadvantaged people on the East Bank to compete with these major mafia people y'all have over here on the West Bank. You know, so we ask that the parish draft some kind of local business inclusion program through the legal department. That way we can, you know, at least get a little share of the contract that's coming through.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't mind you talking, but we're not mafia on the West Bank. I gotta tell you that. We try to help everybody. Now, if you talk right to us all, we'll probably try to help. But if you say we mafia, then we may not help. That's all I gotta say.
I'm just saying, it looks pretty well in Belle Chase and Point La Hache. I don't know if you looked at it, but
I have friends over there. I got a lot of friends. Reverend Nevers is my good friend.
Thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate it.
some of us were taught in the old days to suffer peacefully. Now you go to the dentist and he gives you Novocaine when you put on your tooth. You suffer peacefully is what the older people do, not the young.
Thank you. Henry.
Yes.
That was mine.
He has some discussions on disadvantaged businesses in the parish. That's something that really needs to be talked about transparently, because over the years, over generations, disadvantaged businesses in the parish has been zero. Mr. Mathalu, you could attest to that. An administration, is anything on the agenda where you're going to propose some type of disadvantaged participation in some of these contracts that's going to come up for the parish?
I campaigned on trying to get as much local input as possible from the local business people. And if it was up to me, all contracts would be dedicated to the local people. However, in other words, our hands are tied with state bids and so forth and so on. But we're exploring, in answer to your question, all avenues to try and help out as many local people and local businesses as possible.
New Orleans has those type of programs, so their projects are bidded out. So I don't see why we can't do something like that. You know.
As I stated, that's our intention, is to try and help out the local business.
Here again, the disadvantaged people going to be left out. They don't have the money to participate. Come on, that's something I would really like to hear, you know.
Thank you. Item number I.
Discussion regarding Mardi Gras Pass.
Councilmember Mathalu.
Yes. Mr. President, we have any update on the Mardi Gras Pass?
Yes, in fact, I addressed that with Senator Bitter, and he is well aware of that situation just last week. Just an update to the people of the parish. Mardi Gras Pass was something that was a state project, and the state abandoned that particular area. And since then, Sundowner has been using it, and as a result, that has created a water and water gap from the Mississippi River. And so we've notified the proper authorities, and we're trying to get it moved. And Councilman Bartholomew, we're working with him to see what progress we can make to eliminate that problem.
The main reason that we have a problem with Mardi Gras Pass is that it doesn't offer the oysters an opportunity to grow or to come back. And that was a way of life on the lower part of the East Bank and Plaquemines and Point La Hache area. We used, on any given day in September, we used to have as high as 9 or 10 trailers moving out of that area with oysters. In 10 years, we haven't had half a sack to come out of that area. With the exception of this year, they have a few people cooling oysters in Pumpkin Bay. That's close around St. Bernard area. But All American Bay, Bay Crabber, Long Bay, all of what used to be abundance of oysters, no more. And part of the problem is the Mardi Gras Pass with the freshwater diversion that's coming, freshwater is coming in. Now, to what extent did BP play into that? The settlements or whatever? I don't know. What, does it have any stigmatization on the shelves? I don't know. But I do know that Mardi Gras Pass, when it was open, it won't produce any oysters. Because if that was the case, we'd all, everybody go fishing in the Mississippi River. Not have to worry about it. You get oysters year round. But we know that fresh water does not provide the atmosphere for oysters to develop and grow because of the salinity that's involved with the spats as they take on any hard object. And that's the reason why the fishermen, oyster fishermen petition that we try to close this as soon as possible. Thank you. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Any further comments? Hearing none, we move to item J.
Update by administration on borrow pig collection fees.
Councilmember Salvo.
Yes, take that question, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think that question was posed to administration. We requested at the last council meeting for the chair of the administration to come back with some figures on the borrow pit.
We're still in the process of trying to gather as much information on that as possible. And so we would have to defer until we get all the information that would be required.
Okay.
We'll defer item J.
Yes.
It's been requested that we move back to item G.
Okay, we have, Mr. Chairman, we have Mr. Ritter come to the podium.
Larry Rittner, I'm with the Land Department, Plaquemines Parish. We had a project about a year and a half ago. Oh, I'm sorry.
An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan for the Reach C Culvert Project and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'm sorry. I don't know these procedures, I apologize. About a year after Isaac, we had some severe damage on the back levee on the west bank, from West Ravenna Road down to Myrtle Road. What happened, we brought in a contractor to repair the levee. About the time, toward the end of that project, we were getting wave action on the back levee, which eroded to a point where we had to do something. I came to the council, I introduced an ordinance and received $500,000. And at that time, the contractor was still on the project. And the past administration elected to contract the repairs for that section. Around that time, we brought in a new supervisor in heavy equipment. He assured us that he could perform the work with the crews and equipment he had, and we elected to do it in-house instead of contracting. So I think there's a total of about $160,000 out of that $500,000 that was spent doing these repairs. And what happened, we had about $360,000 left in that budget that's been sitting there, obviously, since we completed the project. We have another emergency that I'm calling this on the East Bank back levee from Phoenix to Bohemia. It's Reach C. It's in Councilman Bartholomew's district. I brought it up to him a few weeks ago. He had this ordinance introduced, and he actually was working with Ms. Salvant to say, hey, I need the monies transferred from this reach to my reach. I think there was a confusion here. Ms. Salvant thought it was a project that was funded that we were going to do in that reach, but that job is completed. In other words, the money is sitting there. Now, what's happening on Reach C is there's 9 culverts. They're about 6 feet in diameter. They go under the levee. It's a federal levee, back levee. They go under the levee. They were put in back when they constructed the levee in Highway 39. And they actually had sluice gates on those pipes in order to drain the system before the pump stations in the drainage canal was completed. It was built for, like, I call it temporary drainage, but it was drained at the time until the pump started running. Well, now the Corps of Engineers on our inspections, they asking us, the parish, we're responsible for the operations and maintenance of the federal levee system. They want the culverts inspected. These culverts haven't been inspected since they've been put in, probably 30 to 40 years ago. They are galvanized culverts, and the Corps suspects that they may have some corrosion, they may have collapsed. They went through a series of hurricanes, and now what they're doing is we have until April the 22nd of this year. We have to block the culverts off. The parish is going to try to do this in-house. We're going to pump the water out, and then we've got some prices from different companies to put a video robot in the culverts, and it's got to go through for the inspection. I'm supposed to have this completed by April 22nd, and it's a lot of work, and I know it's been deferred because of the confusion of the project funds. Originally, I had introduced it with $200,000. At one time, we wasn't sure if we were going to contract this out or we could do it in-house. Mr. Burris in the heavy equipment department feels like he could do it in-house, so I lowered that amount to $100,000 on that particular ordinance to move $100,000 out of the project fund on the West Bank to the East Bank fund. I don't know if I can reverse this deferral. I don't know the rules and regs of the council, but if we don't get this project completed, what's going to happen is if we get hit with a hurricane next year and that levee is damaged, it's a federal levee, the Corps is out. It's going to be on our nickel to do the repairs. Number two, at some point in our future, near future, the people on the East Bank, the insurance rates are going to be affected. So my reasoning for being here today is to please try and get this moved so we can get the funds and get this project underway. You know, if they take it out of the federal program, if we want to go back, say, next year and put it back in, we may have to do borings, do soil surveys. It may cost us $1 million to put it back into the federal system. So I'm asking the council for your vote to move this fund from the West Bank to the East Bank Reed City.
Mr. Whitmer, I
Yes,
did
ma'am.
hear you say that the West Bank levee project was completed.
The repairs were completed, yes,
The
ma'am.
repairs were completed.
Right.
And you're reducing from 200 to 100, so there's still a remand, there'll be a remand of $100 in there?
No, there's 223,000 remaining. There was 323,000 remaining in that budget. And I'm asking to take 100,000 out of that and move it to this Reed City project, the culvert project.
Okay, I'm good with it. John?
Councilman Sullivan, you want to?
I'll offer him.
Councilman Donnelly reverts back and offers item 6G. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Lapine. Any further comments or discussion on the item? Hearing none, the machine is open.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
And the order is adopted 8-0.
Thank you.
Council will move to item 8, approval of the minutes from the January 22nd, 2015 meeting. Do I have an offer?
Offer.
We have an offer on the minutes. Do we have a second? Councilman Bruno seconds. Yes, sir.
Yes, Warren Lawrence, Murder Grove. On J, I thought I'd at least get to speak on it. I know Ms. Audrey deferred it, but, and I know the administration says they're working on it. I know at the last meeting I brought up certain items that were not being done with the borrow pit collection fees. Some of this stuff has nothing to do with the engineer or anything. It's an in-house situation, whether the permits have been renewed or they haven't been. You know, I sat down with the auditor and found out there is money that's sitting there that's not being collected. And if we're going to postpone it, I'm just kind of looking for, I've been postponed for 2 years on this. And I want to make sure that, you know, I've offered my assistance to show where this is. I haven't been contacted on it. And I don't know why, if there's any protection being done to these fees, why you tell me you need money and you got $100,000 a year not being paid. And I want to know why you're not collecting it. You know, I mean, it breaches on malfeasance in office. And I sat here 4 hours, and I just want to make sure that if it's being postponed, you ask legal to come back at this meeting with a report. And to hear the report say, we don't know yet, or we're going to be here in June and July and not knowing yet. I hate to be upset about this, but I am upset.
Let me just say, this is my opinion. I believe that at the next council meeting, we're gonna have a lengthy discussion, as Ms. Salvon introduced something a little while ago to deal with the fees, and I would ask that the administration tune up and be prepared for this discussion at the next meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the company, they had signed a contract with, my understanding, Mar Engineering. In other words, we need to get them here. Supposedly it's project 141114, and they have the borough pit oversight. But that's why I wanted to try and get them along with this Duke or Cambry and Suffering group, because they supposedly are in line with that already.
And if I may say, this has nothing to do with the Myers Engineering. This is in-house. If a permit is supposed to be renewed each year, this is between the permit department. If it's not done, and they're supposed to do it and it hasn't been done, we don't need Myers Engineering. This is in-house. If we didn't collect the sales tax on it, we don't need Myers Engineering to tell us we haven't collected the sales tax. If we haven't collected the 3 cents per ton, we don't need Myers Engineering to tell us. If we don't collect the 5 cents per yard, we don't need Myers to tell us we haven't done our job. And I know I sound frustrated, but I don't want to hear people say we strive to the end for money, yet there's money sitting in the kitty that people are getting out without paying for.
Thank you.
Once again, Mark's supposed to have an oversight on the borough pit. So.
Let me address this issue the way I see it. What Mr. Lawrence highlights is something different than what we're talking about with an engineering firm being hired to actually monitor what's going on. I believe Mr. Lawrence is pointing the finger at some internal operations that need to be addressed. And I would ask that someone from the administration meet with Mr. Lawrence and let him explain the detail about what he's expressing here today, because there are some issues that need to be addressed internally. And the Meyer engineer firm and the lawyers and all of that, I don't believe they've been tasked to do any work. No. So if we're waiting for them to give us some answers, we're going to be waiting a long time, because they haven't been tasked to do the work. Even though the prior administration signed contracts with them, nothing has been done. So this is an issue that is ripe for review. It's something that we need to clean up our own house, whether it's the sales tax department, the permit department, and look at ourselves internally. And if you task the outside firm that has a contract to do some work, we have to get our house in order, so to speak, to be able to do that. So I would just ask that somebody meet with Mr. Warren before the next meeting, and we can have an in-depth discussion about this at that time.
We'll be glad to meet with Mr. Lawrence as soon as possible with the legal people and the other people concerned, whether it be permits or sales tax.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Not only meet with Mr. Lawrence, we need a report to come back before this council.
And I would ask one thing, if I could meet with the audit committee. This is something that should have been brought through the audit. I tried to get it to the past audit committee and failed.
Mr. Lawrence, let me assure you that the new audit committee has been appointed at the last meeting, and that they will be gearing up, and they're in the process of formulating their agenda.
Okay.
So I thank you for that, and I would expect this item will be deferred till the next meeting. So then, at the next meeting, I'm hoping that the meeting will not be as lengthy, perhaps as entertaining, but not as lengthy, and we'll be able to discuss borough pits at the next meeting. So with that, the minutes on the table. Any comments or discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, the machine is open on the minutes. minutes are approved 8-0. And unless someone else has anything else to offer today, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn. So offered by Councilmember Black, seconded by Councilmember Lapine. The machine is open on the adjourn. Thank you, and the meeting is adjourned at 5:06.
I'm gonna drop this off to him. Oh, okay. I normally do sometimes.